Whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say who's on the beat, because you should know that by now. Check it. Hey, yo, music's on my mind. Love my 59, 50, I ain't lying. Check it. Yo, this ain't a fitted song. This a get with it song.
Yo, what up?
Yo.
BTV Sports, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition of Yo BTV Sports, live from Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. I'm Jason and Ugo. That's Ugo boy.
Yahtzee.
We got Mar behind the glass. Thank you very much, Mar, for everything you do. And yeah, we are back. And before we continue, I just want to give a little bit of shout outs real quick, man. So
go for it.
First and foremost, let's give a shout out to the sponsor of New York Posse, the one and only. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing, and also for the support and so on and so forth. Shout out to Kyrie. Shout out to season 3 Nights. I just got back in the director's chair last night, and so that's why I may be looking a little drained right now, but you know what, I brought the energy for you guys, for Ugo, for Mar, for everybody. Let's get into the show. And also you also another shout out for you as well, right?
Oh yeah, Things Galore at Etsy. It's my brother's AI art company. We got some pieces headed to Bravery Studios. Got a couple pieces headed to the new crib when I move in there, but of course always bring this one. Things Galore at Etsy US. It's linked below, of course.
Alrighty. And now, as the title of the episode would say, and then there were two. So there's a lot of factors.
We're running out of teams.
Well, not just that, but I feel like it's a good microcosm of what the show is going to be about. There was only 2 games left. There's just the 2 of us today, but you know what? We're going to bring the same energy that we always do. Love being part of here. And also, let's not forget, 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. We'll open the phone lines in about 28 minutes. But yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. So now we have finally reached, we're almost to the end line with the NFL season. I can't believe, like, we wait so long for the season to come, and then afterwards it just goes like the wind very quickly. But we're now at the precipice of the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship. Where would you like to start today, Ugo? Do you want to start with the Lions and the 49ers, or the Chiefs and the Ravens?
Yeah, we could start with the Lions and the Avengers.
All right.
Like why not?
Yep. All right, so the Lions are back in the NFC Championship for the first time in God knows how long. I know there's an actual number, but I don't remember off the top of my head. So all my Detroit fans out there, please excuse me for my ignorance. But yeah, it's a nice story. I think that since the beginning of the season, we have been big fans of Dan Campbell and the culture that he's trying to implement in Detroit right now. It looks like it's coming to full fruition. I love the fact that after they won the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they were getting ready for the NFC Championship, there's clips out there that went viral from HBO Hard Knocks when the Detroit Lions were on there, and Dan Campbell was implementing and describing to his players about what they're trying to build here, and it looks like it's finally coming to fruition. And I'm very happy for Detroit fans, because as a fan of a team that doesn't get a lot of accolades and doesn't deserve them, it's nice to see a little bit of an underdog story.
Savage already.
It's nice to see a little bit of an underdog story coming up, but you know what? They have a very tall task against a solid team, as you allude to all the time, as the Avengers.
Yeah.
The 49ers are clearly one of the best teams, if not the best team in football right now, and it's going to be a tall task, but I think that this is actually going to be a very interesting game. I'm not expecting any blowouts. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think the coaching is definitely going to be into play, and let's just pray to whoever you want to pray to that the referees are not going to F it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. First of all,
Yesterday's price is not today's
Fat
price.
Joe there. We got Marvelous on the board.
Yes, sir.
Mar Perdomo, as always. Yeah, I mean that's everyone's fear coming into this game. That's not a San Francisco Avenger fan. Is like, yo, refs, please let these, like, make the calls you're supposed to make. Be consistent. Don't screw it up. Don't be overly slanted toward the home team. We get it. Home field advantage. Like the refs are instructed to throw the flags to benefit the home team. Like we get that. That's part of the deal. But I just want a good game. I want a good game. I want a competitive game. You've got so many storylines in here. That's the beautiful part about playoff football. Styles make fights. You got 2 teams that run the football very, very well. That's their calling card. You got 2 elite offensive lines. You've got elite skill position players everywhere. Obviously, on paper, the Avengers, they've got more quote unquote elite players. But you take a look at the way this roster's been built for Detroit. They've been built to win playoff football. They got two backs that can take over a football game. Jahmyr Gibbs can take over a game by himself. Everyone says don't take a running back in the first round. If he could do what Jahmyr Gibbs is doing, hell yeah, you take a running back in the first round.
Well, what's his name? David Gettleman didn't get that memo, so.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. He's in Boston somewhere eating clam chowder. He's not.
I was just gonna say that, or lobster roll.
Yeah, or lobster roll. He's not working right now. Yeah, I mean. I love the way Detroit is built. I love the way that Laporta, what he's come in. Round of applause for the Detroit Lions, their front office, their GM, the Fighting Dan Campbell's. Golf has had a resurrection. I mean, I love. Me. I'm a sucker and I'm a fan of team building. I love when rosters are so well put together from top to bottom, and even defensively. I mean, you look at the fact that they get C.J. Gardner-Johnson from Philly last year, and he helped solidify that back end. And it's and Aiden Hutchinson. Round of applause for Aiden Hutchinson,
yes.
the Michigan kid. It's gonna be a war. It really is. I really, we'll get to our picks a little later on, but styles make fights, and. You look over to San Francisco, they're right in their Super Bowl window. Yep. And this has been their story for really, this has been the Kyle Shanahan era, almost there, like right there, knocking on the door, sometimes kind of opening the door and then having it slammed right back in their faces by Patty Mahomes a couple years ago in Miami. The pressure is 1,000% on them. It's a 1,000,000,000% on them. They were picked to be here. They were picked to be in the conference championship game. They're here. They were picked to be the 1 seed. They're here. They were picked to go to Vegas, Super Bowl, conspiracy theories and all. Like their colors are in the logo, along with the Ravens. But
shout out to Des for that conspiracy theory.
Yeah, he called. A couple people called that. I saw that on Twitter a couple times. But I mean, this is. You would think this is set up for them. But the beautiful thing about football, they got to play the games, and so I'm interested to see how this plays out. I'll have the game, I'll be following on my phone, and I'll be watching True Detective or Mayor of Kingstown. No interest in really watching the game, but I'll definitely watch the highlights and I'll be following along. But I think that should be a good game.
I should hope so, because one of the things that I've noticed is that, especially in the last couple of years with both championship games, it's felt a little lopsided. It's like either the NFC has like an amazing game, and then the AFC is just like, it's just up for the grabs, whoever wants it, and then it's like a huge blowout, and vice versa. So I'm just hoping that not only with this NFC Championship game, but I'm hoping also with the AFC Championship game that it's going to be excited. It's going to be an exciting one, especially that these two teams have been really impressive this year. I mean, unfortunately, your Cowboys and my Jets didn't make it. I mean, you had a better chance than I did. You could say that we almost had a chance, but after 4 plays, it just went away. But but no, I think that with the exception of the Lions, the Ravens, Chiefs, and the 49ers were teams that people were projected to pick anyway before the season started. Yep. It looks like it's came to fruition. A lot of people would say that the Cowboys should be in the Lions position right now, but you know what? The Lions, they grinded it out. Mm-hmm. They made it. They have a real head coach. I think that you hit it on the head with Jared Goff actually having a little bit of a resurrection and having the pieces around him and that offensive line. I have a little bit of question marks about the defense. I don't think it's championship caliber, but they're gritty, man. They fight. They're tough. So they're not gonna if their defense isn't gonna win, it's not gonna go without a fight.
Yeah, and that's just they took on the persona of the head coach. I mean, both sides did. Definitely more so the defense because, like you said, they don't have like tremendous star power and tremendous names on the defensive side. Aside from Hutchinson and Gardner-Johnson, that's pretty much it, in terms of like, who nationally is like recognized on that defense?
Well, just Dan Campbell. That's why you called them the Fighting Dan Campbells.
They are. They are the persona of the head coach. That's their calling card. So if they are going to win this game, they're going to have to obviously do the big three, like I always mentioned, about running the football, which they can.
Right.
Packing that defense like a lunch pail, packing it with them, which I believe they will. And turnovers are going to be the deciding factor in this game.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you've got two elite offensive lines, as I mentioned before. So who is going to get after which quarterback and who is going to make the least mistakes? And when you get pressure on Goff, it's a horror show.
Right.
And likewise, when you get pressure on Purdy, it's a real horror show. And you look at that month of bad football that the Avengers had when they lost 3 straight games going into their bye week. A lot of turnovers. They're all healthy. Debo is playing. He had the shoulder injury and wasn't able to finish that Packer game. But they're all gang's all here. They're gonna have all their players. The key for both teams. Let's focus on the keys before we move on to the AFC Championship game. The key for the Avengers to win is they've got to get to Goff, but they've got to run the ball. It's McCaffrey. It's McCaffrey. Right. It's McCaffrey. It's McCaffrey. It's McCaffrey. Like that is the key to when you play the San Francisco Avengers at home or on the road. If you can't stop McCaffrey or you can at least make him work for it, it's a long day. Yeah. And if you can't get pressure on Purdy, because Purdy doesn't want to drop back and throw the ball 40 times. They were last in the league in pass attempts. They don't really even want to throw the ball that much. They want to run to set up their shot plays, intermediate to Ayuk, to Kittle, to Debo, and so forth. They want to go short. They're the Yak Boys for a reason. They lead the league in yak. Ayuk, Kittle, Debo, McCaffrey, they want to catch the ball 5 yards down the field, and then they want to turn it into a 40-yarder or a 50-yarder or a touchdown. That's their game. That's always been their game. That'll always be their game. That's why they don't put so much premium on the quarterback.
Right.
Like Kyle Shanahan could care less who his quarterback is. Honestly, if you gave Kyle Shanahan the choice of, listen, you can have Sam Darnold or you can have a bag of Doritos. He'll take the bag of Doritos 100% of the time.
Man, not even putting respect on Sam Darnold's name.
Well, he's a Jets legend, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah. Between mono and seeing ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they're key. The thing when you've got elite players up and down your roster, you don't really have to do too much. And on top of that, Shanahan's a really good play caller.
Yes.
He knows how to scheme guys open. He knows how to make it easy for his quarterbacks, and that's like the knock on his system and the knock on Purdy and before that Garoppolo. It's just like, well, it's the scheme, it's the coach, it's the system. Hell yeah, it is. It is. It's like they're not hiding that. But what gets them into issues and problems is when they fall behind. They're a front-running team. So is Detroit. This is another, I said it before, this is another Spider-Man meme game. You got one team, with the meme and everything pointing. Whoever has the lead going into the fourth, bro, is probably going to win this game. Right. That's the way it's set up. Now, San Francisco, they were trailing by 5 or 4, I believe, going into the fourth quarter against Green Bay, but they'd already driven in the third quarter, and it was just a short touchdown that they needed to take the lead. Plus, they had the weather on their side as well, and the refs, of course. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, if Detroit guns a-blazing, if they play their game, and if they have a lead going in, if they're up a touchdown going into the fourth, I'm gonna text you immediately and be like, Detroit's going to the Super Bowl. Yeah. But if San Francisco's got the lead going into the fourth, turn off the lights, light a candle. It's over. Man. It's over. So the front running bowl. That's what this is today. Whatever front runner has the lead going into the fourth is going to win this game. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Now, hypothetically, if Detroit were actually to pull off one of the greatest upsets in NFL history, how fair do you think that they would go against either the Ravens or the Chiefs, either one, in the Super Bowl?
I feel like the Chiefs are a bad matchup for really both of these teams. And I feel like the Ravens are a bad matchup for both of these teams, and I'll tell you why. First of all, the Ravens blew the doors off of both of these teams during the regular season. And the Ravens did it to Detroit in Baltimore, and then they went into San Francisco, opened up the door, hopped on the couch, put their feet up, went to the refrigerator, grabbed a snack, pulled up a newspaper, and did whatever they wanted to do in San Francisco. Because their defense punishes finesse teams.
Yes.
And yeah, San Francisco, they're a punishing power team when they want to be, when they want to run the football.
Right.
But when they are not running the football, they're kind of finesse, and that doesn't work against Baltimore. Not the way they're constructed. Not with those linebackers. Not with Patrick Queen. Not with Roquan Smith.
Or even Lamar Jackson's legs.
Or Lamar Jackson's legs on top of that. Mobile quarterbacks give both of these teams issues. And they've got the most dangerous man in the NFL, the front runner for the MVP at quarterback. So I think both of these teams would rather play Mahomes
right.
and the Chiefs. I don't think either of these teams would. If Baltimore wins the AFC Championship game, I'm going to pick them to be favored to win it all. Because to me, the 49ers are the best team on paper. They're not a better all-around team than Baltimore. Baltimore has everything covered, from coaching to personnel to style to attitude to aura. Like, they are built to win it all, 100%.
Yes.
San Francisco, I feel like the deficiency at quarterback is going to pop up either this week or next week.
Right.
I've been saying that all year long.
Right. It's funny because you allude to them as the Avengers all the time, but at quarterback position, that's not exactly Captain America or Iron Man.
No, you called him Hawkeye when we got it was either you or Mongo, and down to Marco for that.
It was definitely Mongo. It's definitely Mongo. Shout out to Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Who's actually on one of your favorite shows right now, Mayor Kingstown.
He's killing it. Round of applause for Jeremy Renner. Round of applause. Loving it.
And I haven't kept up with it, but I don't know how his recovery has been ever since that snowmobile accident. But
I heard he's back to work.
Good.
He's back to work, and they already renewed it for season 3. I'm on season 2 right now, but
oh man,
season 3.
You're ahead of me at the game.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm still trying to catch up on everything. Like, we're getting a little off base here, but real quick, like, I have never really seen Boardwalk Empire until you told me how much I need to watch it. So that's what I'm trying to catch up on right now before I can get to all the other stuff that I can get to.
Your great grandfather Chip Rossetti is in the show, so you kind of have to watch it. Just saying.
Yeah. Speaking of grandfathers, shout out to my real grandfather who's actually going to be turning 101 in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So God bless him.
Bailey Yahtzees.
Yes.
Love you, Bailey.
Yeah, and also shout out to my mom and her husband, who's actually on their way to Colombia right now to celebrate with him his 101st birthday. That is amazing. I can only hope that my genes are on that side of the family.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, but getting back to the games though. So I'm looking at the weather right now in San Francisco. It looks like it's going to be really nice tomorrow. Like it's going to be like anywhere between 67 and 70. So the weather is not going to really affect any team at all.
No.
San Francisco, it's going to be home field advantage, but who knows? I mean, Detroit. I think that because of the way that Dan Campbell has constantly constructed this team and this franchise, I think they have actually a really good chance of winning it and pulling like one of the biggest upsets in NFL history, and that would be all because of Dan Campbell and all this implemented. Because I know we've seen the guy plenty of times on social media and on TV and everything. He's the type of guy that you want to run a brick wall through,
1,000%.
So I know for a fact that he's going to get these guys prepared and riled up and being sure to, bite off some actual kneecaps,
for sure.
A little bit of nuggets out there, they're going to come. So, but it is going to be a tall task. They are going up against arguably the best team in the NFL right now. But I think that their outlier right now is the quarterback position. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy is, he's not exactly Zach Wilson or anything like that. Far from it. But,
Savage.
But he's not.
Savage.
But like when you compare him to Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, he's obviously the fourth on that peg.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Everyone like they bring up quarterbacks that need like a perfect situation to thrive. Brock Purdy is the poster child for that. And not saying that he's trash. I don't think he's trash. I don't think he's a bad quarterback.
No, he's not.
Like I say that week in and week out, even when I get into it with my brother who believes he's Brock Montana, and a couple of my friends from Penn State who are 49er fans that swear that he's the second coming of Joe Montana. I'm just like, listen, the way I say this to blue in the face. The way that they're constructed, Kyle Shanahan doesn't care about the quarterback. He never has. He never will.
You know
he
what
just doesn't.
You know what it's like with me for 49er fans? They're almost similar to Dolphin fans because you could put Dante Culpepper at quarterback and they'll think that he's Joe Montana.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. It could be on their first, second, or third string quarterback, and they're going to think that they're Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Joe Montana all in one peg.
Exactly.
That's just the way they are, and I think that San Francisco is, they're feeling that way with their quarterbacks, whoever it could be. It could be Jimmy G, it could be Alex Smith, it could be Brock Purdy. They fall in love with them easily. Just like David Gettleman did with Daniel Jones. He was in full bloom love, and that's exactly what 49er fans are when it comes to the quarterback.
Absolutely. And there are a handful of blue blood organizations that are victims of their history, victims of their past. Mm-hmm. The Packers are one of them. The Cowboys are one of them. The 49ers are one of them. Teams that have historically have had success, and then when they get the new version or the new age, the next guy, he's got to fight those ghosts. I mean, Dak has to fight the ghosts of Troy Aikman and Staubach. Purdy's got to fight the ghosts of Steve Young and Joe Montana. This is what comes with it.
Right.
The difference, however, is, again, the 49ers never intended for Brock Purdy to even be in this position.
No, they wanted Trey Lance.
They wanted Trey Lance to be, Marv, you got the music ready? He was a generational guy. You know what I mean? Oh.
I just think it's funny that he's also on your roster as well. So
He is. He's the insurance policy if Dak craps the bed. You know what I mean? Which I don't think he will.
No.
But
Geico won't have to push that through.
No, absolutely not. It's just good to have insurance, but you pray you don't have to ever use it. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the way this is set up. This is set up for San Francisco. It just is. It's set up for them. They got the 1 seed. They'll have the home crowd behind them. Again, all their horses are going to be there. And again, they're in a situation. They haven't won a Super Bowl since 1994, and they've gotten close. They made it to the Super Bowl in 2012.
Yep.
Lost the Ravens
with Jim Harbaugh, who's now the head coach of the Chargers.
Exactly.
And we'll get into that a little bit.
We'll get into that. They made it there a few years ago against Patty Mahomes. They had a lead. They had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then Kyle Shanahan did what he always does in big games. He coughed up the lead. You see what I'm saying?
like that Patriots and Atlanta debacle.
Exactly. He was on that staff. We talked about that in length. So this is set up for them to finally go through the door, close the door behind them, and end their title drought. If they don't win it, however, because you have to look at the alternative, the other side of it. You know what I mean? How many more times do you think this is, again, we say this every year. This isn't Madden. You're not just penciled in to go to the conference championship game unless you got Patty Mahomes. That's different. You're not just penciled in to go to the conference title game and the Super Bowl every single year. And on top of that, that core is it's not set up to last forever. You know? And you're gonna I was thinking about this the other day. You're gonna have to pay Purdy that going rate for quarterbacks at the end of next year. You're going to have to pay him that. He, as hilarious as it sounds, I can barely get it out without laughing. Brock Purdy is going to be a $40 to $50 million quarterback in about a year from now.
Yeah.
You realize that, right?
I mean, it happened to Daniel Jones. Why wouldn't it happen to Brock Purdy?
I'm just saying. And once that happens, things look different. You know what I mean? They just do. And trust me, Don Lynch and Shanahan, they don't want to pay this guy $40 or $50 million.
Right.
But they understand that the alternative is probably Sam Darnold or an undrafted free agent from the CFL. You know what I mean? So they got no choice but to do it. And your roster is going to change when that happens. Look at Kansas City. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is set up for them. This is. And if they don't pull it off this year, and with this title that is basically it's there for them. You know what I mean? It's literally, this is like a ladder match. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's there. Go up and grab it. If they don't, you know what I mean? They'll be held to pay. They really will.
Absolutely. 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. We're going to open up the phone lines in just a minute. But yeah, so sticking on with this game though, we mentioned coaching. We got Dan Campbell and we got Kyle Shanahan. Which one of these coaches do you feel has the most pressure to win this game?
Oh, 1,000% Kyle Shanahan.
Okay.
1,000%. The Detroit is 2 years removed from a rebuild. You know, they missed the playoffs last year, and they missed the playoffs the year before that. You know, it was their goal to win the North and to get into the tournament and make some noise this year. I think that they had like a 4-year outlook of like, okay, when are we gonna like be competing for championships? Maybe next year. They're a year ahead of schedule. And on top of that, San Francisco's got the better roster. They've got home field. They've got the experience. All the boxes are checked for San Francisco to win this game. So, of course, and on top of that, Kyle understands what I just said before. The roster is going to change dramatically. They'll have pretty much most of their elite players because they're already signed long-term with Debo and Kittle, and they have to pay Ayuk. And but how many more years of McCaffrey do you think they're going to get?
Not much, especially at his position. I mean, these guys they run him into the ground, and their careers are unfortunately end faster than any other position in the NFL.
Big facts.
And not to mention, McCaffrey is already considered a veteran because he had all those years in Carolina. He did great things for them, and they couldn't do anything with it. And now he's in a much better situation. But the clock is ticking on McCaffrey. I mean, he's still an elite player.
Absolutely.
But you know what? How much longer is he going to be able to retain that much juice in his body?
Agreed. Like, give it 2, maybe 3. That's even pushing it. But minimum 2 years of this level of play you're going to get out of the running back position. All those years he spent, like you mentioned, in Carolina, your team is going to look a lot differently. And again, you're about to pay Purdy $40 to $50 million on top of that. So 1,000%, the pressure is on Kyle and his team to do it, to get to the Super Bowl and try to win it this time for a change. And again, they're at home.
Right.
The home team always has more pressure. They do. So yeah, the heat is on Kyle, and he's the Nick Fury, I guess.
Right.
Him or John Lynch.
John Lynch, yeah.
They'd be the co-Nick Furies of this roster.
I would
sure.
say that John Lynch is Nick Fury and Kyle Shanahan would be Captain America.
Okay, that works too.
Heat is on. Shout out to Eddie Murphy at Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes, sir.
All right, so 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. We're going to open the phone lines now. It is 12:29. We usually do it at 12:30, but we love you guys, so we'll give you an early minute. But
yeah, for sure.
Wide open. Give us a call, 862-621-9536. And now let's transition over to the AFC Championship game.
Okay,
right.
Before we even start, round of applause for Patty Mahomes.
Yeah.
Let's just do that and keep him going, Marv.
And Travis Kelce, too.
And Travis Kelce, the Fighting Taylor Swifts, the Kansas City Swifts.
Shout out to Isaiah Pacheco, Jersey's own.
Yes, Jersey guy, Isaiah Pacheco. He says he does not run like a zombie. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we both picked Buffalo to finally get over the hump.
Yeah, what a disaster that pick was.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Joe Beningo. Yeah, give me another Dodd Lemon. Give me another Dodd Lemon.
And you know what, before we continue, big shout out to Joe Beningo, because unfortunately I couldn't make it to his live podcast yesterday at Hackensack Brewing Company, but I'm wearing you guys to support, and we'll check you out on the next one. But yeah, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Joe real quick. Hope it was a good turnout with you and John Trzaskowski and everybody else. Shout out to Kenny, Joey the Jet, everybody that was there in attendance. And definitely shout out to Mike Jones, and congratulations again on the baby. All right, so let's continue.
Yeah, I mean, he does it again. Patrick Mahomes is the Michael Jordan of the NFL right now. I'll say that 10 toes down. He's incredible. And it's funny because he
sounds like Kermit.
People exactly. He sounds like Kermit. He loves ketchup on everything.
Savage.
But you look at Kansas City. They went 50 years before making it to a Super Bowl. I'm going to say that one more time. Where's my camera? 50 years before they made it to a Super Bowl. Half a century. And if I believe this was worth the wait, because you've got the best player on the planet right now, and they had no business winning that game in Buffalo, in the cold. But when you've got he is the poster child of generational play the music, Marv. Patty Mahomes. And it's funny, I saw this on the I think the Kansas City social media team. They were having a blast.
Right.
You know who traded with Kansas City to acquire the I think the 10th or 11th overall pick to get Patty Mahomes from Texas Tech? It was the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, it was.
So they basically handed Kansas City the sword to behead them if this was Roman times. This guy, he's so great, man. Yeah. He's a great quarterback. He's a great player. He's gotten better each year. He's got a contract over that's damn near $500 million.
Oof. Yeah. He should own the team at this point.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He's got ownership stake, and I think he has ownership shares in Buffalo for sure.
Yeah, and also taking over Aaron Rodgers' duties as State Farm spokesperson.
Exactly. It's a great transition too. But no, I mean, the way he's led this team, they have been devoid of talent really the last 2 years at the receiving position. The number one receiver last year was Juju Smith-Schuster. And they won a Super Bowl with that. And then their leading receiver this year, it really isn't Travis Kelce. He's been banged up all year. It's Rice, the kid Rice from SMU. But it doesn't matter. When you've got 15 and it's close, give me 15 10 times out of 10. And the second Buffalo wasn't able to really put the foot on the gas and take over this game, because this was a prime example of what San Francisco needs to avoid. Buffalo had everything lined up for him. Everything lined up for him. And I think Buffalo matches up pretty well against Baltimore, too. I actually wanted to see that
absolutely,
matchup. You know what I mean? But this is what happens when you don't take care of business at home, when you don't use the home field advantage, when you don't execute your game plan, when your quarterback doesn't rise to the occasion, when your coaching doesn't rise to the occasion. Buffalo reminds me...
That's the wild card right there.
Exactly. Buffalo reminds me a lot of Dallas in the sense of they got rosters, they've got everything set up for them. Sometimes they'll even have the home field set up for them. They got everything lined up for them. But come playoff time, is your team elevating and flipping that switch? I mentioned this on my show before the season started when I went to Chop's studio. Shout out to Chop Sports as always. Dave, love you, dog. Chop City. In the playoffs, everyone's good. Everyone's good in the playoffs. I mean, you're not going to go against expansion teams. They don't make it to the tournament. The best teams, the best coaches, the best rosters, they play. You know what the difference is, though? It's the coaching. Yeah. It's the coaching, because the coaching elevates the players. And in the playoffs, Mike McCarthy does not elevate his teams. You've won 12 games 3 years in a row. Why do you play the worst game of the season in the tournament? That's coaching.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, same situation. You've got a generational quarterback, you know what I mean, according to everybody's metric. But why is it that when the game is on the line, you were at home last year against Joe Burrow. He outplayed you. You were at home this year in the playoffs. Patty Mahomes outplayed you. The same Patty Mahomes you've beaten in the regular season twice in Kansas City. But why is it at home you can't elevate your game? Why can't you do that? That's my question to him every single year, and that's my question to Dak Prescott and Cowboy fans. That's our question to him every single year. You put up those numbers during the regular season. You got all the commercials. You know what I mean? You got the home field advantage. You got good rosters. Why is it that you can't take it to the next level and flip that switch? Because you got to flip it in the playoffs. If you can't flip it then, you're not winning a championship.
Right. And it all comes down to coaching. I mean, listen, with Buffalo, I feel like you don't have to have Bill Belichick. You don't have to have any like Jim Harbaughs or anything like that. You don't even have to have Mike Singletary back there. If you just if you just have a competent head coach, right, that's actually able to win you games and has a good game plan and so on and so forth, then I think that Josh Allen would at least have been to the Super Bowl. We would have made a Super Bowl appearance at the very least. But I think that right now they got a great wide receiver, an elite wide receiver in Diggs. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen has proven that he is no scrub, even though his stats are very iffy. Like, he has one of the worst stats, but I've seen some of the best football ever played with just from the eye test only with Josh Allen.
Agreed.
It's crazy how that works, but he's able to pull it off. And they constantly put the pieces around him, and usually it's at the end. It's at the hands of the head coach or the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator. It's like they have great players. They have elite talent. They just don't know how to cook it. They need to get HelloFresh or whatever to actually show them how to actually cook the ingredients perfectly. But I just think that at the end of the day, Buffalo just has a coaching problem. I mean, I like their GM because he's been able to put a championship caliber team on paper with the Buffalo Bills, and Bills Mafia is one of the best fan bases in the team, depending on who you ask. But when I look at Buffalo and I look at all the detriments, I really narrow it down to coaching. And I just don't think that Sean McDermott is a great head coach at all. I think that he's he's a little less competent than what he really should be at his job in order to get him over that hump. And if I was Terry Pegula, or if I was I forget the name of the GM for the Bills right now, but if I were either one of those gentlemen, I would actually take a hard look at either Pete Carroll or Bill Belichick, because those are pretty much the only head coaches that are available right now, because I don't think Sean McDermott has the capacity to get it done. And it's been, 7 years that he's been in Buffalo now. It's time to either do it or get off the pot.
Yeah. So it's very wise that Bill Belichick is not going to take a coaching job this cycle. It really is.
I'm actually kind of shocked by it, but it's probably a good thing.
Well, I'm not. Here's why I'm not. Because I feel like Atlanta, they were very interested.
I mean, they interviewed him twice.
Yeah, exactly. Atlanta even interviewed Harbaugh. They wanted in on Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. I think they both realized that Harbaugh didn't want to really go there, so they backed off. And I think Atlanta kind of realized that Bill didn't really want to go there. Like, I don't think that they basically. I'm not gonna sit here next to you Eastern Standard Time in this studio and be like, Arthur Blank handed Bill Belichick an offer sheet, and Bill was like, "Nah, I'm good." I don't think he offered it. I think they sat with him and they surmised that, Bill wants to coach, but he doesn't have to coach this year. He can really take a seat back, wait 1 year, just like Sean Payton, and pick wherever the hell he wants to go. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and also he could, I don't know if he's going to do this, but hypothetically what he can do is he could take an analyst job or actually be on TV or whatever.
Exactly.
Actually show that he has some personality other than he does in his press conferences.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to actually rise his stock up along with his 6 rings that are jingling and jangling and his entire resume and so on and so forth. So as of right now, I just think that based on the last couple of years in New England, it's been miserable. And I think also that teams that are looking to hire Bill Belichick, they don't want to give him complete control because there's no disputing his coaching abilities.
Yeah.
But he has proven time and time again, without Tom Brady, he hasn't been exactly the greatest GM in NFL history. Like it's almost like Phil Jackson. We knew he's great at coaching, but he can't run a franchise.
Right.
So
right.
I'm not saying that he's as bad as Phil Jackson, because that was a disaster as far as like being in the front office and everything.
So
but
that's the truth.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
No,
it's almost like the Mike McCarthy effect. I think also Bill needs to realize that from a coaching standpoint, that the way that he is used to coaching is not working in the NFL anymore. I think that plays to it as well. I think that he needs to realize that this is a new era. This is a new, there's a new situation that comes with it. It's almost like the NFL is slowly, unfortunately, but turning into kind of the NBA or the MLB, where like it's all about the players. Like they have the control more now than the coaches ever did. And I think that Bill just needs to get a little bit acclimated in today's NFL, see what he needs to fix. And I'm confident that he will, because he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
And even regardless of his age, I feel like he has a lot left in the tank. He certainly has the smarts to do it. But maybe it's just. It's okay to give yourself a break sometimes. Sometimes you need to shut off the computer to give it a reset. And I think that it could be very beneficial to Bill. But I will say that I am kind of shocked that, not only just with Atlanta, but no other team was interested in interviewing him.
I think, again, that just lets me know that teams, they tested the waters. They asked around, and they were just like, yeah, Bill, he doesn't really want to coach. I really think when you've got 6 rings plus about 2 or 3 more as a coordinator, so really like 8 or 9 rings under your belt, you can really pick and choose and do whatever the hell you want to do. So if Bill really wanted that Atlanta job and was like, went to Arthur Blank and was like, listen, I want the job, hire me. You think Arthur Blank's going to tell him no? Like, you sure about that?
I was waiting for it.
No.
You sure about that?
Like, 1,000%, he is waiting for either the Buffalo job or the Dallas job next year. Like, mark my words. Because think about, this is, like, I know I'm getting freaking X-Files conspiracy over here. Is that a call?
We got a caller, yeah.
We
got a caller.
All right, I'll hold that thought.
Yes. Let's go to the phone lines. Who is this?
Is this Deji?
Yo, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Who's this?
Who is this?
What's going on, man? This is Kyle Will checking in, man.
Kyle Will! What is going on,
Dom DeMarco.
What's going on?
Pardon the loud sounds in the background. I'm actually at a kid's birthday party, but I had to step to the side to call my bros, man.
I love it. What's
we
up,
get
bro?
it. Dad duties, man.
Yeah,
we get
dad
it.
life. What's up, bro?
All good, man. I'm just checking in, man. I just wanted to say, and Jason knows about this, man. But Ugo, I didn't want to mess with you last week because I thought it was too fresh. But I was a coward in my pick. I really, in my heart, I believe that Green Bay was going to win that game. But I stuck to the conventional wisdom, and like a coward, I just said, Dallas is going to win.
And I got receipts to back it up to say that he did do that. So
don't worry, man. Dallas let us down like they always do. But you're good, dude. You're fine. You're fine.
Man, but what's going on, man? Like I said, I'm at the birthday party, so I'm pretty sure you guys are breaking down all of the championship weekend, championship game nuances, but I don't even know where to start. I will start with this bold prediction. Even though I want Lamar Jackson to win, I'm riding for him. I think he bet on himself, and he was incredible. I don't think anybody's stopping the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going all the way again.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
And listen, if you asked me that a couple of weeks ago, I would have said that you're crazy. But these last two games that Kansas City has played has shown me that they still have a lot left in the juice. They just need to get a little bit healthier. They just needed to make some adjustments. I think that Andy Reid is still a fantastic coach, and he knew how to get the job done. And they've been here before, So I think that now they're just getting warmed up. The heat is definitely on for them, and I would not be surprised. Now, my heart is saying going with Baltimore. And I think we're going to get a repeat of 2012 with the 49ers and the Ravens. But I feel really confident that that they'll get it. That it's possible to get it done. Basically, if Kansas City wins, I will not be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, so Kay, how do you feel about Patty Mahomes and his play in these playoffs? Do you feel like what is it about him? Do you feel that has that? I called him the Jordan of the league right now, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
What is it about him around this time and in the biggest moments that he elevates his game? Like, why do you feel like he has that in him?
He's a champion, man. He's a winner. He has it. Kobe had it. LeBron has it. Jordan had it. It's very rare to see somebody, and it's almost like a switch that you can see. And he flipped it on. He flipped it on in the Super Bowl last year. He flipped it on in the championship game to advance against the Bengals. He got helped with that late hit, which probably haunts Joe Burrow to this day.
Facts.
You know, but he has it, man. He's a winner. He's incredible. And I feel like we're going to see that tomorrow because it's not going to be a close game. I mean, it's not going to be a blowout on either side. It's going to be a close game. But Patrick Mahomes is going to flip that switch. He's going to will that offense to win. He's going to put Velcro on MVS and carry Tony Vance if he has to. I think Jason Kelce, because I feel like we've been saying it wrong the whole time and they're just now correcting us. I feel like Jason Kelce is going to have another big game, another big showing. And unfortunately, against the entire country, chagrin, to the entire country's chagrin, rather, we're going to see Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes doing more synchronized handshakes.
Swag surfing. Swag surfing. And you mispronounced Kelsey's last name. It's pronounced Swift. Swift. or hyphen. Swift Kelsey. Swift Kelsey.
Mr. Two Shots.
Yeah, totally.
That was on time. That was
for
perfect.
Sure. But Kay, we got to keep the show going. Do you have a question for us for the panel, real quick, before we get you up out of here?
Yeah, I gotta ask you guys. Just go switching to the other side, man. And I see where you guys are going because Jason, I know you said we were going to see a rematch after last week. Man, the Lions gonna win this game, man, and I'll put that as my other bold prediction.
Okay.
Lions are going to win this game. It's going to be Motown versus Kansas City, a Midwest swing in the Super Bowl.
That'd be something.
And you know what, Kyrie? I love this because I think since you learned your lesson about not going with your heart and picking the Packers, I think that you're going gung ho. I think you're going gung ho now. Be like, no, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 100. So I think that's what you're doing right now.
Something about the NFC North, man. Something about the NFC North.
Guys, I can't wait to come back, man. I love the show. I'm gonna let you guys keep the show rolling, but I can't wait to check in next week and see if I was wildly wrong or exponentially right. And that's what we love about Sports Talk Radio.
Yeah, well, hey, thank you so much, Kyrie. We really appreciate it. We appreciate the love. Can't wait to have you on the show again. And also a big shout out again to New York Posse for doing all they do for BTV Sports and everything else.
Sir. Yes, and the guys are in town from your Posse. We're gonna have some more. Next time I come, we're gonna have some more stuff for you guys.
Oh, hey, Dom DeMarco.
Yeah,
the Don Cannon too, and a Bailey Yahtzee.
Yes. All right, Kyrie. Thank you for calling in, man. Much love to you. Much love to your family, man.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. So let's get back to your point. I think we kind of lost track here, but do you remember where we left off?
Well, I mean,
It was about the coaching, Bill Belichick.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's actually a perfect segue to, because I think it's about that time to keep that same energy.
We need like laser sound effects, like with like or something for that scene, keep that same energy, like they do with the Hanna-Barbera cartoons back in the day.
For sure. But I'm good with the Chris Tucker. I'm good with the Chris Tucker.
Okay,
I'm good with the Chris Tucker. And another. And another. And one more.
Lee!
Yes. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? This episode of Keep That Same Energy is brought to you by New York Posse. Thank you so much for the merch. You know, grab that at American Dream Mall. First Class, Second Place podcast. New episodes available wherever you get your podcast. The You Go Boy podcast. You go, boy. New episodes available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, we just had Gordon Deal on episode 37. Shout out to round of applause for Gordon Deal. Mm-hmm. One of the top names in American radio. Goodness gracious, and sports media.
I also love how he took that little shot at the Jets also on your episode. But you know, it's fine. You know what? I respect it, but I was like, I see what you did there.
And of course, last but not least, Things Galore. Things Galore at Etsy, US for sure. Grab yourself some AI-inspired canvas art. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do here for this episode, we're gonna highlight two guys that they got to do better. They have to do better.
If you knew better,
you do better. Actually, three guys.
Oh, okay.
And the three guys we were talking about earlier before, we kind of alluded to them, but we're going to crystallize them right here. Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, and Mike McCarthy.
Oof.
And let's throw a fourth one for shits and giggles. Dak Prescott. Rain Dakota, first of his name.
Well, you can't say the whole thing like a Charcoal Quest right now.
Can't. Like, I need national media to keep that same energy they have for Dak when he falls on his face and Mike McCarthy when he falls on his face. Keep that same energy for the Buffalo Bills. Because you penciled them in. A lot of people penciled them in to Vegas. They penciled them in to the Super Bowl the last few years.
Yes.
And come playoff time, they don't show up. They do not show up. And this is becoming a trend. It's becoming a trend in the playoffs. And really their legacies for amazing regular seasons, all the touchdowns in the world, Pro Bowls, commercials, DirecTV commercials, State Farm commercials, whatever. But come playoff time, you don't show up. You do not show up. You don't show up in the biggest moments. Buffalo should have won that game. They were at home. They wanted this rematch. They wanted that lick back for the AFC Championship game for years. They've been waiting for this moment. And what happened? They didn't show up when it mattered most. Yeah. Patty Mahomes did. Cowboys, 12-5, 3 consecutive years. And like clockwork, like the year before in San Francisco and the year before at AT&T Stadium, return to the scene of the crime, you don't show up in the playoffs. You don't. And again, that switch that I mentioned on my show and I mentioned on here, if I'm going to make a bold prediction. Oh. If Buffalo doesn't go on a run next year, and if Dallas doesn't go on a run next year, both teams will be looking for new head coaches. I'll say that 10 toes down, Dom DeMarco, Don Cannon, all that. Because you've got rosters that can win championships, man.
Yes.
Like that Buffalo team can play in Vegas. That Dallas team can play in Vegas. You've got the rosters. But if you put Jim Harbaugh on Buffalo, they win the Super Bowl. You put Harbaugh on the Cowboys, they win the Super Bowl.
Yes. Either Harbaugh.
John or Jim or Jack. Old man Jack or Jackie, their mom. Any of the Harbaughs. You put any of the four of them in the coaching staff for any of these teams, they're going to Vegas. But you've got a deficiency at head coach, and you play your worst game of the season in the tournament. That is inexcusable. You could win 12. Dallas could go 12-5 again next year. They can go 13-4. Hell, they can go 16-1. It doesn't matter, bro, because playoff football is different. You're going against the best of the best. You're going against coaches that have been playing chess. They've got a year's worth of film on you. They know everything you like to do. They know everything you don't like to do. And you would think you could do the same to them. You would think that Buffalo had a year's worth of film on Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs and knew how to stop them. And you would think the Cowboys had a year's worth of film on Matt LaFleur and the Packers and could have stopped them. But what happened? They didn't show up. And trust me, both coaches will be out if they don't go on runs next year. I said what I said. Give me a CM Punk. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
And
keep that same energy.
And let's throw in some pipe bombs while we're
Throw some pipe bombs. Throw some pipe bombs.
Pipe bomb.
I'm wearing his hoodie. He's going to win the Royal Rumble. I called it. Say it with your chest.
Shout out to Bailey.
Shout out to Bailey. And Bailey will win the Women's Royal Rumble. So Bailey's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble because she's gorgeous. And CM Punk is going to win the Men's Royal Rumble. And we're going to watch it on Peacock for sure. My Peacock subscription.
Yeah.
Subscription.
862-621-9536 is the number to call in. No, but I totally understand what you're saying. I'm in lockstep with you. I'm actually really surprised, or maybe not so surprised, because based on how the owners and the GMs of these teams tend to act, I'm disappointed. I'm not even surprised. I'm actually disappointed that they're actually going to run it back, because I'm looking at both the Cowboys and the Bills, and you have everything right there for you to win it, and obviously the detriment is the coaching.
Yes.
So if you're not going to get rid of the coach, what are you going to do different in order for you guys to get over the hump? I don't think you guys are going to do that, because the same problems that's in there, that's causing it is still in there. Like Mike McCarthy has already proven and shown that he should not be the Dallas Cowboys head coach any longer, and same thing goes with Sean McDermott. Besides just on the field and also in the franchise, some of the deplorable things that he said and so on and so forth, that should have been already red flag, that we give you a chance to try to win it and you didn't, so now we got to go in a different direction. And especially when you have a head coaching carousel of some proven, decorated, winning head coaches out there available for you, but you decided to run it back.
Well, that's why, again, Bill is smart. Because he's literally we've seen this movie before. You take the words out of your mouth, like just
another Scorsese picture.
Exactly. Like Sean Payton knew he could have this pick of the litter. Just wait a year.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want that Dolphins job. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. I'll wait. I'll get the job that I really want. He gets Denver.
Yeah, and also another thing. This is we're coming back to this. I had it in mind, but then I forgot and it came back. So let's say that Bill Belichick does take off that year. That also shows that Brian Daboll has another year under his belt to prove that he is indeed the head coach of the New York Giants that he should be. If he doesn't, if he has another horrible season like he did this year, and he's also rubbing people the wrong way and so on and so forth, obviously, I think that they would get rid of him, because the Giants have a history of getting rid of, head coaches as soon as they see that they're the problem.
Yeah.
And they also know that Bill Belichick is out there, and everybody and their mother knows that Bill Belichick's dream is to be the head coach of the New York Giants. So I would say, Brian Daboll, look behind your back. You better win, because Bill is coming up right behind you, and he's going to take that job if you don't get it done.
Big facts. And keep in mind that Vrabel is out there as well.
That's another one. Yeah.
And again, like this
and
is
Pete Carroll.
And Pete Carroll. This is my dream scenario for Dallas. Yeah, in 2019 all over again.
Okay.
Like, say it'll be 2019. The only difference is they'll make the playoffs this year. I do. I would be shocked if Dallas doesn't win another 11 to 12 wins again, competes for the NFC East title, and gets the 2 or 3 seed and makes it to the playoffs. I'd be shocked if that doesn't happen, but then again, they've let me down in so many ways over the years, I've lost count. So who knows? They very well might. Not or might. I feel like, because I'm with you, I'm like, McCarthy has lost me. I don't believe he's the guy to take the Cowboys to the promised land. I stand on that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm usually right about these things. Yeah. So I see him falling on his face, playing the worst game of the season in the playoffs yet again. Maybe they win in the wild card round next year. Who knows? But right on brand.
Maybe he needs the refs to win the game for him.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. But he's going to fall on his face at some point in the playoffs. It's either going to be the wild card round or the divisional round. The fall is coming. So with that being said, his contract runs out. They don't even fire him. They just let his contract run out, just like they did with Jason Garrett.
They're trying to be graceful with him.
Exactly. They'll say a mutual parting of ways, however they want to frame it, however they want to spin it to the PR department. That's what they're going to do. I would bring on Bill, and then I'll be like, bring Vrabel with him. I want both of you guys, and that way you'll have. This is my full X-Files like music moment on right here. You bring Bill on with Vrabel. Bill coaches maybe 2-3 years. They win the chip either his first or second year. He goes and hangs out with Jimmy Johnson in Florida. He's done. He's proven everything he needs to prove. He's won a Super Bowl in New York as a coordinator, in New England as a head coach, and in Dallas, he's goated. He's already goated.
Without Brady, too.
Without Brady. You win Super Bowls with Tom Brady and Dak Prescott. He could walk into the Hall of Fame the next day. Like they'll give him his jacket as he's leaving the stadium.
Yeah. As soon as they give him that Super Bowl trophy, oh, by the way, we have this for you as well.
Exactly.
Put the gold jacket over.
He puts it on, hops in his freaking Mazda, goes home.
Can you imagine that selfie though?
Oh my God, that'd be something.
That'd be one of the most legendary pictures. Even though I'm not a fan of his face particularly, but
knowing him, he turned into a hoodie. Like he'd like put the sleeves off. Don DeMarco.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? But anyway, he gets handed the Super Bowl trophy with his gold jacket that's a hoodie now. He goes over to Florida to hang out in the Florida Keys and go fly fishing and mahi-mahi fishing with Jimmy Johnson. And then he hands the keys off to Mike Vrabel to be the coach of the Cowboys for the next decade plus, or until he gets tired of it.
Right.
That's what I want. That's what I would like, because the Cowboys have not had a competent head coach since Bill Parcells. That is the last time Jerry Jones fully got out the way and hired a guy that could take him to the promised land, an adult head coach.
And the only person available to have that kind of clout is Bill Belichick.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
As much as Pete Carroll is great, I don't even think that he has enough clout to sway Jerry Jones in that direction.
No. Pete Carroll is a manager at CVS or Walgreens.
Oh wow.
Like, that's what he is, bro. Like I'm sorry, bro. Like I know he won a national title at USC. He's won a Super Bowl.
Should have won two.
Should have won two. But clean up on aisle 3. You know what I mean?
Savage.
Like I don't see. He's going to be a Hall of Fame head coach. He will.
Yeah.
But I don't see him walking into Dallas and changing the culture. I just don't see it. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how you see it, but I don't see it. I see Bill Belichick wherever he decides to go, whether it's New York, whether it's Dallas, wherever. He walks in day one, hoodie and all, and he changes that culture for the better. For the better. Because this whole thing that, he's out of touch or his style doesn't work anymore, he doesn't resonate, miss me with that. Good coaching give me good coaching 10 times out of 10. I tagged you in the clip of Nick Saban breaking down matching personnel.
Yep, you did.
Matching personnel. Something the Cowboys failed miserably in all 3 of these Mike McCarthy playoff disasters. You go into San Francisco 2 years ago. Okay, they're going to get off the bus running the football because their quarterback is trash. Give me 10 trashes for Jimmy Garoppolo. You knew coming off the bus, Garoppolo, they're going to try to limit his throws coming in. Let's go big boy personnel. Let's mitigate the turnovers. Let's mitigate the penalties. Let's play a more uniform style to beat these guys. What do? You don't do that. You don't match personnel.
Right.
A year later, you play the 49ers again. This time the quarterback is even worse because you got Brock Purdy as a rookie who Shanahan again was holding back the playbook. Like, listen, this is a 7th rounder. He probably knows like a third of the playbook. We got to really, really, really dial it back or whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you match personnel again against the 49ers this time? No,
nope.
You don't. You don't. Fall on your face. And this year, 3's a charm. I told you, they went for a hat trick like they were playing, like the Devils were playing.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Match personnel. Coming off the bus, it's the same playbook. We said this coming into the Green Bay San Francisco game. Green Bay, San Francisco, Miami, they all have the same playbook. They run the same plays. They run the same run plays, same run fits, same play design. They do the same exact thing. The only difference is San Francisco has elite players, so it doesn't matter a quarterback. You knew what Green Bay was going to run. They did. You had linebacker. You had freaking garbage men at linebacker, and you got Aaron Jones looking like O.J. Simpson. You know what I mean? The whole time.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Looking like Bo Jackson running up and down AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
You know, because you have no idea, you have no freaking concept of, you know what? They're going to run the ball. let's go heavy personnel here to try to stop that. No. You have no clue about play design or personnel or anything. Bill Belichick does. Bill Belichick comes in that game, he's like, okay, listen, they're coming off the bus, they're going to run the ball? Cool. We're going to match personnel for that. Yeah. Oh, they're coming off the bus, they're going to pass crazy? Let's match personnel for that. You can't do that. And let's motivate and say what we need to say to the team before the game or during the week to get them in the mindset to play playoff football. McCarthy doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to do that. He wouldn't know how to do that if he fell out. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. You know what I mean? He's so clueless on playoff football, bro. He's more clueless than Adam Gase. Mr. Eyes. Yes. Or your other favorite coach, Todd Bowles. Yes, that face. Go tight on that face.
Somebody fart. Listen, I just got a question. Did they put gasoline in your coffee or something? did they put gasoline in your coffee? Because you just came out of the gate.
It's the Starbucks. It's the Starbucks.
Can we get a sponsorship?
It got me on 10, man.
You see what they're doing to him right now? We need a sponsorship from Starbucks right now.
One more time. Yeah. I want problems. One more.
I want problems always.
Yes.
Refresh my ignorant mind. Where's that from?
That's from like this low budget African Nigerian Mortal Kombat. It's bad too. We watched that clip with my parents. No. I want problems.
No thanks. I'll stick to Black Panther.
They probably have a low budget Nigerian Black Panther too. Probably. I know they have a low budget Nigerian Spider-Man. It's out there. It's definitely out there.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I think I may have seen like compilations of movie clips from other countries and so on and so forth. And I think either Nigeria or another African country. It's hilarious.
It's bad. It's hilariously bad. It's hilariously bad.
I remember there was a war film that I saw, and like the guy in the helicopter, it couldn't have looked more fake. It was like something out of Mattel.
Facts. Big facts.
All right, but anyway, 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. So we talked about Pete Carroll. We talked about Bill Belichick, but there is another coach out there that is for the taking, and he is not one to take a year off, or he's not advanced in age, and it's a guy that we like. It's Mike Vrabel. Yeah. So as of right now, I'm actually shocked that the Atlanta Falcons hired Raheem Morris, because his resume does not constitute anything that gives you confidence to be a head coach in this league. But you know what? Arthur Blank could do whatever he wants. That's it'll prove time and time again that he made the wrong decision. I hope not. I do believe that coaches, when they get fired and then they go somewhere, they do deserve a second chance. But I do not have a lot of confidence in Raheem Morris. I may be proven wrong. Maybe they just got to give that generational quarterback.
And then the music bar.
And then afterwards it'll be all said and done. But I don't have a lot of confidence. I think that Atlanta kind of fumbled the ball here, because if they didn't want to hire Bill Belichick, they could have had Mike Vrabel. Right. But as of right now, there's 2 vacancies, I believe. I don't think Seattle hired anybody yet.
No. Seattle is still going to. I feel like it's Dan Quinn's job to lose.
That's true.
But then again, the Ravens defensive coordinator. He's also a strong candidate. I think. What's his name? Mike Daniel, I think, or something.
I think
like
so.
that.
Yeah. And then
Mike McDonald. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then you also have Ben Johnson, the OC for the Lions, that he's going to be in strong consideration as well.
Yeah, I heard he's the front runner for the Washington job.
Oh, I heard Commanders.
The Commanders. Oh, what a disaster! So I think it'll be Ben Johnson in Washington, and it's going to be either McDonald or Quinn in Seattle. That's my bold prediction.
So then where does that leave Mike Vrabel?
I think Vrabel takes a year off and he goes with Bill next year.
That's crazy.
It makes too much sense, man. Like,
and also, not to cut you off. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
You would also think that the best place for Vrabel to go was New England. Instead, they hired Gerard Mayo.
Well, yeah. The Mayo hire wasn't surprising because, again, he was a captain 7 years in a row.
Well, yeah, I don't think it was surprising. I don't think it was surprising either. But I think that Mike Vrabel just had the better resume as far as head coaching is concerned.
I think in house they were always going to give it to Mayo. I think Flores.
Do you think also it was an optic? Due to the fact that it's an African American coach.
Well, round of applause to the NFL. They hired 3 African American head coaches this cycle, which has got to be a record somewhere. A little Blanco privilege going on. I think it's, you could look at it that way for sure, optically speaking. But I think that I think Mayo is suited for the job. I really believe so. Just from a leadership standpoint, everything I've heard from the building is like, yo, he's one of those ones. They feel like he's like a young Mike Tomlin.
Well,
honestly.
for my Jets fans' sake, I hope not. So I already had enough torture of 20 plus years with Bill Belichick. I do not need a Bill Belichick 2.0. But you know what? We'll see.
I mean, Vrabel. It makes too much sense for just Vrabel to just go with Bill. If you go with Bill, you have a built-in head coaching job waiting for you. It's a reason why McDaniel honestly hung around Bill. He's like, listen, if I just hang around him, I'll have my pick of coaching vacancies, and I have a guaranteed OC job whenever I want it too. Let me just, I'll always have work as long as I hang around Bill.
And also, let's not forget about this tidbit. Now, this is just speculation from Adam Schefter, but you know what? It could be in the realm of possibility. I don't see it happening, but let's just live in hypotheticals right now. So there's been some speculation out there that there's a possibility, not a big one, but still a possibility that if the Chiefs actually win the Super Bowl again this year, then Andy Reid is going to retire, call it quits, go out on top, and then afterwards there's going to be another vacancy. So let's just pretend that actually does happen. Let's pretend that Patrick Mahomes has been to 4 Super Bowls, won 3. Andy Reid has actually won another Super Bowl. He goes out on top. He's a Hall of Fame coach, the whole 9, and he figures, you know what? I did everything that I need to do. I'm going to go and join Jimmy Johnson in Florida and go deep sea fishing or whatever.
Yeah, get some mahi-mahi.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So do you think that maybe Kansas City would actually be a good fit for Mike Vrabel as well?
Yes. Anywhere would be a good fit for him. He's one of the best all-around coaches out right now. He understands how to lead men. He understands how to elevate his teams to play their best and punch above their weight class. He understands how to put together rosters when he's allowed to. I mean, Tennessee.
When he's allowed to.
That
was the problem in Tennessee.
That was the issue in Tennessee. The second that GM, I don't even know his name.
They just shoved down Ryan Tannehill down his throat and Malik Willis and.
Yeah, and Will Levis. Yeah, for sure.
Levi.
Levi Jeans. You trade away A.J. Brown for a bag of chips.
You sure about that?
You sure about that?
You sure about that?
You know what I mean? It's so, like, if you put Vrabel on the Jets, you guys 1,000% you guys go to the playoffs. Yeah. I don't know if you guys win a Super Bowl, but you're playing,
without a doubt.
You're playing on Super Wild Card weekend, and if you put Vrabel on the Cowboys. There's no way in hell they're losing the Packers.
Right.
He'll go on the field and put a helmet on if he has to. Yeah. Bite off kneecaps if he has to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the Jets because I was thinking about this. Now listen, this really pains me to say because I really like the guy at all. But Robert Saleh, everybody has great things to say about him. But a lot of people are saying that, I think he's a horrible head coach. He should be fired right now. He should not be given another chance. The only reason he still has a job is because of Aaron Rodgers. And maybe he does. Mm-hmm. And then you also have people that are saying, well, I feel like it's an incomplete grade because he hasn't had an actual real quarterback in his locker room, and I'm falling a part of the latter. Now, I really do hope that it works out quarterback-wise. It could be Aaron Rodgers, it could be Jacoby Brissett, whoever. I pray to God that they do something on that backup position because the last couple of years in Green Bay and also in New York have shown that Aaron Rodgers. He has a little bit of an injury concern right now. So you definitely need an insurance policy like the Cowboys have with Trey Lance. Yeah. You have to get the guy that I want is Jacoby Brissett. I think he would fit perfectly as a backup quarterback to the New York Jets. And I hope they do that. I don't have confidence that they will, but I hope that's what they do. I'm just glad that I think that Zach Wilson is moving on. I think they want to move on from him. I think he wants to move, but so on and so forth. But let's say that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the end-all be-all. He's not holding the Jets hostage right now. I think that it would I think that both actually Douglas and Robert Saleh would be gone because I think it would also be a franchise malpractice to fire the head coach and then give the GM, who hasn't necessarily done a great job, another opportunity to pick the coach again.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
So I think that both of them will be gone.
You sure about that?
And I don't know who would be good as to take over Joe Douglas's place, but I would be more than happy to have Mike Vrabel because I agree with you. I feel like he would, I don't know, be a Super Bowl contender, but it's a hell of a lot better than what we have currently constituted right now. And it pains me to say because I think Robert Saleh is a good guy. I do give him credit for giving that defense, getting that defense in the number 1 rankings, so on and so forth. He does have something to do with that. But you know what? Being a coordinator and being a head coach are two different things.
Facts.
It's practically night and day. He has shown me so far that he is not capable of being a competent head coach so far. But you know what? He has one of the best quarterbacks that ever lived on his roster right now. You better win. You better win because your ass is on the line right now. And if it goes sideways the way that it did this past year, this will probably be the first time that the Jets have ever let go of a head coach in season. since God knows when.
I think that come next year, around this time when the season's over, I feel like both of our teams will be looking for new head coaches.
I
really believe that.
I definitely believe it for you guys.
Yeah.
And I have to say the same thing for me. I don't want to believe it, but
I don't want to either. I mean,
well, no, you want, because you're done with your guy.
Yeah,
you're done with your guy. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope for Robert Saleh. I don't know if it's because he's a very likable guy and he has that beautiful bald head of his and everything, but I really do want Robert Saleh. Any head coach that the Jets have, I want them to be like a Rex Ryan. I want them to be here for a long time, for 20 years and everything. I don't like this head coaching carousel that we're doing.
I don't either.
I hate it.
I don't either.
I hate being in that purgatory.
I don't want. Listen, the Cowboys haven't had back-to-back double-digit winning seasons since Jimmy Johnson in over 20 years. This guy's given us 3 straight 12-win seasons, probably a 4th straight next year. In my right mind,
I will bet money that you guys will have the same record next year that you did this year.
Exactly.
Because it's happened 3 times in a row.
Exactly. Like, tell me when I'm telling lies. I'm wearing the man's hoodie.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'm wearing his hoodie. He's going to win the Royal Rumble. He's from Chicago. I love him. Tattoos and all. You know what I mean? I don't care that he's an atheist. I could care less. I love him. Like, savage. Like, who would want to throw that away? 12 wins. You can book it. 12 wins every year. Give me that.
I'll take it.
I know you take it. It would mean you guys would actually go to the playoffs. Yes. Who wouldn't? But the issue is, come playoff time, the man forgets how to coach. And for the life of me, I don't understand it. But then again, it does make sense because you had prime Aaron Rodgers and you won 1 Super Bowl.
Right.
You made it to 1 Super Bowl with one of the greatest quarterbacks who ever lived. And you could only make it to the chip once? Like, that's damning. And yes, Dak played the best season of his career last year. He was an all-pro, Pro Bowler, MVP candidate.
And it was all for nothing.
And it was all for nothing because come playoff time, you just forgot how to coach. And you've forgotten how to coach the last 3 years. And again, I told you in his end of the season exit press conference, he's like, I know how to win. Fans, buy into us. I'm not buying a damn thing, bro. That's bad stock. I'm not buying in.
Now, obviously, you're done with McCarthy, but what are your thoughts on Dak? Because at the end of the day, Dak is the one that has to go out on the field and make the plays.
My thing with Dak is you have no choice but to pay him because of the way his contract is set up. I remember life after Troy Aikman. Like, we're around the same age, bro. So like let's go down memory lane of what the year 2000 to 2006 looked like.
Do we ever go back in time drop or anything? I think we need to get one, but yeah.
We should have like a dream drop. We'll have it sometime. But 2000 to 2006, when we were rolling out Ryan Leaf at quarterback, Anthony Wright, Drew Henson, Chad Hutchinson, Tony Banks, Clint Sterner.
Oh, make it stop. Make it stop. I'm not even a Cowboy fan, and even that's making me sick to my stomach.
Yeah. Quincy Carter. I can keep going. Brooks Bollinger. Like, bro, we had a horror show at quarterback for about 6 years until Parcells came along. With Sean Payton, no less. There's this undrafted kid out of Eastern Illinois. Let's keep him on the roster. Tony Romo. And Vinny Testaverde, 60 years old, but he's a hell of a lot better than what we rolled out before. Let's sign him. You know what I mean? So I don't want to ever in my lifetime or in my unborn children's lifetime, I don't want them to go through a carousel of bad quarterbacks that you know on game day you've got no chance. No chance. Like we're not going to talk about him. He's garbage under the sink. We know who the former owner of the WWE is, but no chance in hell. His theme song. That's what that played in my head every single time. It was a kickoff for a Cowboy game from 2000 to 2001 to 2006. You've got no chance. No chance in hell. I don't want to go back to that. So
what up, G?
Exactly. So no. You don't get rid of him. But this is what you do if you have any sense. You sign him to an extension, 4 to 5 years, because that's the going rate. You give him his bag because regular season-wise, he's earned it. Right. And that's what the market is for a quarterback.
Right.
But round of applause for the GM for the Giants, Mr. Sheen, Joe Sheen. You put an out in that bad boy.
Yes.
You put it out after 2 to 3 years.
Right.
Around that time. So I'm going to put all your guaranteed money All that up front.
And that goes to show that's an indictment on Daniel Jones that they didn't have enough confidence to actually give you an actual fair contract.
So actually when you put it out in a contract, you basically, it's like you're dating a girl. I like you. I like hanging out with you.
Yeah.
You're fun. But you're not going to meet my friends.
Right. Speaking of Val, be sure to check out the movie The Out, starring this handsome gentleman right here, written and directed by Chris Aballo.
Love you, Aballo.
At Smartcast, coming out next month, I believe.
Either this month or in March. We're still trying to hammer out the date, but it will be at Smartcast.
Right. Either way, tune in, support The Out, support my guys, and let's keep that same energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they need to put that. I'm very interested in how they set up his contract. Again, this is what I would do. I give him a 4 or 5 year extension. I'll put all the guaranteed money up front in the first 2 or 3 years. Because again, you're about to sign CeeDee Lamb, you're about to sign Micah Parsons to a baseball contract, and you've already signed Trey Diggs. Your core, you have a championship level core in place right now. There of the 4 core players, there's not a team in the NFL that would be like, nah, we're good. Yeah. We don't want Trey Diggs. We don't want CeeDee Lamb.
And I'm looking right now. Dak is 30 years old right now. So
exactly.
I guess he has a little bit of time left, but he's not 26 years old anymore.
Yeah, he's not a spring chicken.
No.
So I'm saying so with that being said, your window is right now. I'm not going to waste the prime years of CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and Trey Diggs the same way Jason Garrett and Wade Phillips wasted the prime years of Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, Jason Witten, DeMarcus Ware, and so many others, countless others. Wasted for years, bro, with subpar coaching that can't get it done in the playoffs, or subpar quarterback play that can't get it done in the playoffs. Right. So there's a reason why Trey Lance is on this roster. He is the insurance policy. And again, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I don't want to use that. I don't want him to see the field. I only want to see him on the sideline freaking eating an apple or reading a freaking Surface Pro with his baseball cap on. Or at the end of the game taking kneel downs because the game's decided. I don't want to see him out there. I love Dak. I have his jersey. I've rooted for him since he got into the league. I believe you can win with him. But if he continues to show that he can't get it done and he's not that guy, he's got to go. I don't want to do that. I don't want to move off of Dak. I don't want McCarthy to fail. I want them to win with what we have. I'm not a pessimistic fan.
That's how we are as sports fans. Like, just because we hate our coaches or our quarterbacks or whatever the case may be, we always want to be wrong. And I think the frustrating part is that we're always right.
Exactly.
That's the frustrating part, especially coming as a Jet fan. 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. Also, shout out to E. Ruff and the Hip Hop Advocates. He says he's tuning in right now while driving the PA. Enjoy the show, man, but drive safely, please. Absolutely.
And speaking of the Hip Hop Advocates, shout out to John Figs. He's got a new video out.
Oh my God, I love that video, man. I have no rhythm. For a Spanish guy, believe it or not, I have no rhythm, but even I want to get up and dance to that song, bro.
Let me find the name of it real quick.
It's Bucketheads.
Bucketheads. Oh my God, I was in tears.
Yeah, I love it. And you know what? I love everything that the Hip Hop Advocates is doing, man. And also shout out to you for calling in a couple of weeks ago. Profanity not needed, but
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, exactly.
Speaking of the Hip Hop Advocates, Captain Planet now streaming on all digital platforms. We're over 100,000, I think 104,000 on YouTube. Get those Bailey Yahtzees going. Yes, so shout out to Advocates, shout out to I Might Snap, shout out to A1 Vision. We got a new video on the way too. I can announce it on here. I was going to announce it on my show. Run it up. We'll be dropping in the coming months. It's a new single. Produced by Eddie Heartthrob, the GOAT. Keep those applause going. That's my brother right there. Eddie Heartthrob on the beat. I Might Snap.
Shout out to A1 Vision.
And A1 Vision. My trio, my super team, bro. A1 Vision, Eddie Heartthrob, I Might Snap. We do magical things on camera.
Let's get a band is back together for that one.
Yeah.
The band is back together.
And a survey says.
One more for the good guy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 862-621-9536. E-Rub is actually laughing his butt off right now in the check-in.
Yes.
All right, so let's get into the AFC and NFC Championship predictions. So, I mean, I think we kind of relegated to it what we're leading, but let's just break it down like a fine powder, as Don LaGreca would say. So
nice.
So let's go down. Let's start off with the NFC Championship with the Lions and the 49ers.
I want to pick the Lions because I hate the Avengers with a passion. I hate the Packers with a passion. I hate all those teams from the 90s the Cowboys used to beat.
I hate you.
Hate you. I'm gonna go with the Avengers. The Avengers they're at home. I think we're on a crash course. They're on crash course with Baltimore. That this is what the league wants. This is what the league's going to get. I predicted that it wouldn't be, and I think I'm going to be wrong. I think I'm going to be wrong. I think it's going to be. I got the Avengers winning by a touchdown, 27-20.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna refer to this as I always usually say when it comes to big important games. My heart is saying the Lions, but my wallet is saying the 49ers.
Dom DeMarco.
Yeah, I love the Lions story. I love Dan Campbell. I love what they were able to do this season. I enjoy watching them. This is probably the first time ever in my life that I enjoy watching a Detroit team and watching what they're doing. I'm also I'm kind of like a bandwagon Detroit fan right now. As at this
America is.
Yes. Listen, we've seen this movie so many times before, and we want to twist ending by M. Night Shyamalan for once. But yeah, I love this matchup. I think it's going to be a good game. But you know what? If I'm a betting man, and unfortunately I am, I got to go with the 49ers here. They're going to be back into the Super Bowl. I love what Dan Campbell is doing, but I think that Kyle Shanahan is such a seasoned head coach, and he is so smart, and he knows how to outplay you, and he comes up with these intricacies that other defenses are not looking at. I think he's going to actually make Brock Purdy look like Joe Montana, unfortunately. But I think that Jared Goff is also going to have a really good game as well. There's going to be a lot of running. The weather's going to be good. Referees, steer clear of any BS calls out there, please. We want to enjoy a good game. And, like I said, I would really love to see the Lions success. I think it's an amazing story. And this is the type of stuff that we love sports for in the first place. This is why we became sports fans in the first place. But unfortunately, the Avengers are going to take care of business, and I'm going to go with the 49ers here by a field goal, 23-20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now also the Chiefs at Baltimore. So this is interesting. This is the second time that Patrick Mahomes in his entire career that he's ever played a playoff game away. He's been the away team. This is the second time in a row. And I thought that was going to be a detriment to them when they were in Buffalo. But they proved that they're still the damn Chiefs. They still showed that they are who they are, and they're one of the best teams. And Patrick Mahomes is the Michael Jordan of the NFL right now. But I also think that this is going to be a very big test because I don't think that Lamar Jackson is better than Patrick Mahomes, not by a long stretch. No. But John Harbaugh is a great head coach. They have some real playmakers on that defense, on that offense for the Ravens. That defense is nothing to play with. I think they may, frustrate Kelsey. They may frustrate Patrick Mahomes and everything. And also, Kadarius Toney, he hasn't been dropping balls as of late, but you know what? They could come up with some defensive schemes to actually make him flustered because that's a weak link in their offense as far as I'm concerned. I think that Baltimore is good at stopping the run, so Isaiah Pacheco might not have a great game. He may have a decent game, but I don't think he's going to be explosive like he was in Buffalo. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be a really good game. It's going to become close. I think it might even go to overtime. I think it's going to be an overtime game. It's going to be a real big fighting match. But I don't know. I think that something is going to happen that's going to put the Baltimore in a better position and actually going to take. They're gonna take care of that advantage. They're gonna take advantage of whatever opportunities in front of them, and a lot of Swifties are gonna be heartbroken after this game. Unfortunately for you guys, I don't know. I just feel like if the Ravens win this game, and I'm picking the Ravens, I think it's because of everything other than Lamar Jackson. They're going to win in spite of Lamar Jackson. I think that he's going to not have a fantastic game, but he's going to play good enough to actually win it. And then afterwards, he has no choice but to prove it in the Super Bowl. And so I think that it's going to come down to the rest of the team and John Harbaugh, not so much Lamar Jackson. Maybe he's moving his legs here and there. And I think that Lamar Jackson also knows that he has to win this because his legacy is at stake. Patrick Mahomes, his legacy is already cemented.
Yeah.
This is a huge test for Lamar Jackson, and he better rise to the occasion. But I think he's going to have a lot of huge help with John Harbaugh and the rest of his team, the rest of his offensive weapons, and the defense. So, again, it's a close game again. I'm going to say the Ravens are going to take this one. I'm going to say 27-24.
All right. The winner of this game is going to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I can say that 10 toes down. You don't pick against Patty Mahomes. I picked against him last week and I was wrong. As did you. As did a lot of America. We thought it was Buffalo's time.
Kyrie Williams did. Yep. Everybody.
Yep. I'm gonna Lightning's gonna have to strike twice. The Ravens are at home. It is there for them, man. This is I don't know, because again, the beauty of the NFL is just year to year. You don't know what future's gonna hold. But then injuries is the game changer, because Lamar has not finished the regular season, I believe, the last 2 or 3 years. This is the healthiest he's been for maybe his whole career. He's got to cash in now. Yes. He has to win this game. This is an absolute legacy-defining game for Lamar and for his entire career. You know what I mean?
His mantra in this game should be no excuses.
No. You're at home. You're the 1 seed. You're going to win the MVP award. It is all there for you. You have to put it together and play your best game on this stage in this moment. Because if you do, you're going to win the Super Bowl. Because I don't think either of the NFC teams match up well with Baltimore. I think the 49ers are praying that the Chiefs win. Because like Patty Mahomes versus Brock Montana, like, come on, that's chow salsa. But with that being said, just roster versus roster, San Francisco feels like they match up better against Kansas City. They already know what the Ravens can do to them when the Ravens are at optimum speed. But give me the Ravens here. Give me the Ravens. I believe the Ravens win this one close by 3, 24-21. Last second drive by Lamar to get Tucker in range to win it and send him to Vegas, where they're going to win it all. So I picked Baltimore to win this game. I picked Baltimore to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. There we go. 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. Now, one thing I also wanted to get into in the show real quick before we get into everybody's favorite segment is we haven't spent a lot of time on this particular sport or this particular team, but shifting over from the NFL to the NBA now, how about the Knicks, man?
That's your team. That's your team.
Yeah. Last time I checked, I wasn't wearing the jacket today in the studio. So
I was, because it's comfy. That's about it. Yeah.
All right, but even from a standpoint right now, just a fan standpoint, how about those Knicks though? I mean, like against Denver, they hung up a
round of applause.
Yeah,
that was an impressive win. I saw it on Bleacher Report. It came across my timeline, and I was like, okay, the Knicks are here. They want to make some noise.
Right.
They're currently the 5 seed.
They're the 5 seed, yeah.
So they would be locked up with the Cavs in the playoffs again if the playoffs were to start.
And that's a team that they actually beat in the playoffs last season.
True. I mean, you guys have won 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Listen, Brunson has shown that Dallas made a mistake by not throwing a bag at him, because Brunson and Luka, that'd have been fun.
Making a lot of mistakes in Dallas, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But they got Luka though. They got Luka though.
Yeah,
they got Luka.
Also, shout out to your Dallas Stars.
Yeah, they made it to the conference finals last year.
They did. Yeah,
before they lost to the Golden Knights in dramatic fashion. But
I'm still dumbfounded how you're not living in Dallas, because the only New York team that you root for is the Yankees. But
yeah, I mean, listen, like. It's just timing. I mean, I really fell in love with sports for real in '95 when I was 7. Mm-hmm. And by that time, who was good around that time? The Rockets won the NFC Championship, plus Hakeem Olajuwon's from my home country, Nigeria.
That is true, yes.
The Cowboys were in the 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years. Dynasty established.
You guys beat us in that championship too, the Rockets.
Yeah, in 7 games, I believe.
Yeah, and that was perfect for us as Knicks fans, because that's when Michael Jordan was not in the league.
Exactly.
He was there for us, and then you took it away from us.
Hakeem Olajuwon, thank you. Round of applause for Hakeem Olajuwon. Nigeria, baby.
Patrick Ewing, I still love you, bro.
Yeah, flat top and everything. That's Mara's favorite drop now.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Sounds like my mom, my uncle, my dad.
And Osei. Shout out to Osei.
One more time. Let's get that drop one more time.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
That's the freaking thumbnail. That's the new thumbnail for this episode.
I'm just imagining that scene in Blood Diamond where he's just hitting with a shovel.
God. Jamon Hosu, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
It's a wild.
I'm not even going to attempt it.
That's a wild boy right there.
Yeah.
But no, Knicks are playing well. Knicks are playing well. Like I said, 5 straight.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to be a tough out in the playoffs. I mean, we're months away from the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
we just have to get healthy though, because we're missing Hardenstein, we're missing Mitchell Robinson, who's not coming back anytime soon. But I'm really surprised that our bench has been, doing their thing. I do like Thibodeau as our coach. I think that he's a
great hire.
Not only is a great hire, but he's one of those coaches where he's going against the grain what other head coaches are doing right now, and that's like rest, time management, whatever the hell they want to call it.
Load management.
There you go. See that. See, I hate that term so much.
Nah, it's trash. It's how 10 trash.
It's how I feel about. That's how I feel about how you feel about the G word.
Yeah,
I hate load management.
The L word.
Yes. The L word. Anyway, but no, I did. It's a great hire. I think that I got to give props to Leon Rose, because that guy he still kind of is in the winners possession program, because when the Knicks were actually having some trouble and he was nowhere to be found, he wasn't answering reporters' questions, he wasn't having any press conferences, he was just doing his thing behind the scenes, and we needed some answers from the guy that's upstairs.
Yeah.
But you know what? Give him his flowers now, because he's been doing a really good job putting this roster together. It turns out that OG trade happened to be a really good one, because me being a Knicks fan all my life, I love homegrown guys, and I didn't care so much about R.J. Barrett being traded, but I felt a little heartbroken that Emmanuel quickly got traded also, because I did like him off our bench, even though R.J. Barrett is a better player. But it worked out for the best, because it's really tough to win any game, but particularly basketball, when you got three guys that consistently want the ball and you're going up against each other as opposed to working together. And I think that's what this trade was able to do. They sent R.J. Barrett, a guy that constantly wanted the ball, and he's going to get it in Toronto now.
Yeah.
Same thing with Quickly. Jalen Brunson is being able to cook like he's been doing so far, and Julius Randle is comfortably in his position where he wants to be right now. And OG, he's doing good things. I think he's actually lit a spark in these guys defensively, and that's a guy that is really in the wheelhouse for Tom Thibodeau, because Tom Thibodeau is a defensive genius in basketball terms, and it's working out for it right now. And what I love about when the Knicks are winning and when they're relevant is that it electrifies the city. I know we're not in New York. We're not from New York per se, but, as my father liked to think, it's just all one big conglomerate with the tri-state area.
True.
So it's when the Knicks are good and they're winning, it's electric, and I can't wait to see what happens. I mean, unfortunately, it might be a continuation of what happens in Dallas, where they're great in the regular season and they fall apart in the postseason. But as currently constituted right now, I love what I'm seeing for the Knicks, and I think that it's a shame that a lot of people are not giving Jalen Brunson the props that he deserves, because of the fact that he's not a marquee guy. Like, he's not on social media and being the big star and hanging out with supermodels because he's in New York and so on and so forth. He's just doing his thing. He's not built that way. He just knows how to play the game, and he's playing the game tremendously well here in New York. And unfortunately, you got people that are doing like votes for like Trae Young or something like that because of like his swagger or whatever they want to call it. I can't stand that little guy. I hate his hair.
Ice Trae.
Oh my God, I want to pull him by his hair so much as you can get rid of that Trek. But anyway, no, I just think it's really a shame that the Knicks are playing great basketball right now, but because of their history and with James Dolan and all the news that broke out with him, I think it's unfortunately casting a continuing black cloud over the Knicks, because everybody seems to be focused on everything else but them winning games, and I don't think they're getting the proper respect that they should be getting.
I mean, Stephen A. Smith is your biggest number one fan. So
well, he's also a closeted Cowboy fan, so we have that in lockstep as well.
He's on Mount Clownmore. It's okay. It's okay.
And flat out deceive.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's my response. Every time you say his name, it's just
what am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do with that? Yeah, but oh my God, yeah. I just kind of taking the air out of the room ever since you mentioned that clown, but no,
number one Knicks fan. So you can't talk about the Knicks. It's like you can't talk about Dallas without that clown being in your TV set in 4K with his hairline on his neck and everything. Golly, King Bozo.
But do you feel like the Knicks are not getting their credit or their due because of everything else that's going on around them?
They're a victim of their history.
Yeah.
They have not won a championship since the 70s.
Right.
Haven't been to the final since the 90s.
I think
No,
the
2000s.
Yeah, against San Antonio.
Yeah. That was so, they're in the same situation with they're a blue-blooded franchise.
Right, literally.
Exactly. So, again, when you have a history of winning and you haven't won in a long time, you are going to be labeled as an almost team until you do it. And until they go on a run and win a championship or even get back to the finals or whatnot. Remember, they were the 2 seed a couple years ago with Melo. And they got bounced out by, Indiana? You see what I'm saying? Like, a team that they were absolutely better than.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely better.
I still have PTSD from that block shot from.
Yeah. I remember watching that live. I'm just like, yo, that's terrible. But again, they're in the same situation. It all comes full circle. They're in the same situation as San Francisco, as Dallas, like switching over to the NFL. Like they're in the same situation as a lot of like top tier, high end organizations until they break through. Same with the Lakers. The Lakers, they got their championship in the bubble. Like, congratulations. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a big reason why they won.
Yeah, okay, what do you do?
You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, you've got all star power in the world with LeBron and street clothes, Anthony Davis. Yeah. No, street clothes, because that's typically where he is. I'm pretty sure he's hurt now.
The brow.
Yeah, exactly. The injury. Like, Mans plays like 20 games a year. Like, he plays almost as many games as Ben Simmons a year. See what I'm saying? So it's like, until you consistently put out a winner, bro, you're gonna get that moniker, and that's what they're playing well now, and they're gonna be in the playoffs. What are they gonna do when they get to the playoffs, bro? That's my question.
That's the biggest question mark right there. And that's I hate to put Tom Thibodeau and Mike McCarthy in the same sentence, but he's also one of those coaches that has proven that he can have great regular seasons, but in the postseason, that's when they fall flat on their face.
Yeah. So we're gonna find out.
Yeah, but also what's interesting about in the NBA, real quick, is that moving over to Milwaukee, where they had fired their head coach, and now Doc Rivers is the head coach now. Now, I think it's crazy to me. Like, when I heard the news that they fired him, especially when their record at the time was 30-13, they're the second in the East, and then they let him go. But then afterwards, there's news reports that had come out that he did not get along with his players. There was about to be a mutiny. Their defense was horrendous. Even though they're one of the best teams in the East, their opposing teams were scoring a lot of points on them. So they really had to go into crunch mode in order to win these 30 games. And now they have Doc Rivers, which I don't know how to feel about the hire, because, listen, I know he's one of the best coaches that ever lived, but he hasn't won a championship since 2008 back in Boston. He went to the Clippers. It didn't work out. He went to Philly. It didn't work out. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like Milwaukee's a great team. I love Giannis and I love Dame, but I don't know how to feel about the hire about Doc Rivers, because I don't know if he's necessarily a coach that's going to put you over the edge. If you're going to win, it's purely on the players in spite of the coach.
It was the same exact situation that happened in Cleveland a couple of years ago, where David Black was the head coach. Yeah, they were a top 3 seed in the East. But LeBron, who was the GM at the time, and probably is the GM now,
no, he is.
Was just like, I don't want him here. Like we're winning games with him, but I don't like him. I don't like him. Yeah. The Giannis and Dame, I guarantee you, they went into the owner's office, closed door meeting, and was like, we're winning, but we don't like him. We just don't like him. We don't like him, and we don't feel like when the games really matter, come summertime and we're playing for a championship, we don't think he's going to put us in the best position to win. Right. So he's got to go. And this is who we want. They probably gave him a list of, listen, we want this guy, or this guy. Make it happen. You know what I mean? This is the same Giannis who was just like, I don't know if I want to sign my Super Max extension.
Yeah. Oh, he is holding Milwaukee hostage.
And then what happened? About a week later, they traded for Dame, like clockwork. Yeah. Like, come on, it's not like sports isn't as hard as like people like make it out to be. You know what I mean? Like what we're doing up here is hard. It's hard work to do this and do what we do at the highest level, live from Bravery Studios, of course. Hey. You know what I mean? But sports in general, or the business of sports, when it's star driven, like basketball is, basketball star driven.
Oh, without a doubt.
You can't pull this in football. You can't. The players don't have nearly as much power as they do in basketball. Players have the most power in basketball, hands down. And that's facts. So that being said, this is who they wanted. We'll see if it blows up in their face. Milwaukee's actually won a championship in recent memory.
Yeah, and they had Mike Budenholzer, and then afterwards they went the one more year again with him. And I thought it was also kind of cold how they fired him, because it was also around the time when his brother tragically passed away. Yeah, and then he had to deal with the firing after the fact. I thought it was pretty cold.
That was trash. They're gonna get karma for that, because I feel like he gives you your first championship in like a billion years, and. You know what I mean? Again, star driven. Star driven. Giannis didn't want him there. Yeah. put his freaking size 50 shoes on the desk and was like, yeah, he's got to go.
Yeah, but how do you feel about that, especially because it's clear that it's happening in the NBA?
Yeah.
How is it that you feel about, because I don't know how to feel about it. I'm still kind of mixed on it. I understand some of the motivations behind it, but I don't know how comfortable I feel with the fact that the league is completely star driven. Like stars are actually running the franchises, and sometimes it works out for the best, and sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like even when it does work out, a la LeBron James, it kind of takes the aura of the love of basketball out of the room. Like I think you agree with me that you and I don't love basketball as much as we did when we were kids, and I think I think that's one of the factors that it's too player driven. Like not only is it they're the face of the franchise, but they're actually taking over the franchise, literally. And Giannis is the latest example of that.
Well, I mean, just going to my team, going to the Rockets, and then we got to keep it moving because we got about 18 minutes left. But going to the Rockets, when we were star-driven, it didn't work. We had James Harden holding us hostage for like a decade plus.
Russell Westbrook, I almost said Russell Wilson.
Yeah, exactly. No, James wanted Russell there. Yeah. He wanted him there.
But that's the thing. They want, and I think that started from LeBron and the Miami Heat. Like, he told me that these are the guys I want, and we're going to build super teams, and this is the new way to win. And that's why I still kind of have respect for the Golden State Warriors, because they're pretty much homegrown guys, and they've won. The only outlier was Kevin Durant for those 2 seasons.
Well, that's what the Rockets are trying to do it that way. That's the way they're building in the image of Golden State with Udoka there. And, they're a French playoff team now. I think they're still a year out. But they've got the culture there. All their stars are homegrown, except for Van Fleet. He's the only player. From Toronto. It's from Toronto. He's the only player that they paid big money to, and because you need a point guard to win in this league.
Absolutely.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, it's like a quarterback. You need a quarterback in the NFL. You need a point guard in the NBA.
Exactly. And all their top guys, Green, Jabari Smith, all those guys, one of the Thompson twins, all their stars, homegrown, drafted talent. They want to build their super team the same way Golden State built theirs, with homegrown guys and maybe one free agent guy here or there via trade or whatnot. And I'm much more of a fan of that, because again, it's guys that you drafted that have grown up and matured in your system, in your program, and I'm old school like that, because that's the way teams won championships back in the day.
That's correct.
And that's the way, to me, it'll never, winning with good coaching and fundamentals and defense and culture, winning that way, sign me up for that in any sport. Sign me up for that in basketball, in football, in baseball, versus what the Dodgers doing, spending a quadrillion dollars to put theirs. Like, what? And we'll get to baseball when the season's over, whatnot. But book this: the Dodgers won't win the World Series.
No,
like I can say that 10 toes down. Like, you know what I mean? So,
and even if they do, hypothetically, it's going to feel very icky, because they clearly bought the championships.
Bought it, and they say the Yankees bought championships in the '90s. Our homegrown guys were drafted last time I checked. Our core four: Pettit, Jeter, Mo, Posada. All homegrown guys.
Yes.
So
we just added a little bit of pieces there, like a Strawberry or a Martinez or a Brocious and so on and so forth. And that's the way they did it, you know? And that's why they were able to win all those championships, stay relevant all those years. And that's why even people that hate the Yankees still cringe when they think about the late 90s Yankees.
Exactly. Homegrown, again, fundamental, program-driven, culture-driven, homegrown guys that you saw grow up from young whippersnappers into superstars. So, again, your Knicks, we'll see what they do in the playoffs. We'll see what happens with the playoffs with Milwaukee if it works out, whatever, because I think Doc is kind of overrated as a coach. That's just me.
Same here, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so we'll see come playoff time, but the jury's out. Like, to me, we can't really judge it. It's still fresh. You know, he just got hired last week. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it plays out during the regular season, and we'll see come playoff time when the games matter.
Right, yeah. Bunch of clowns in this league. But anyway, that's a nice segue, because now let's get into everybody's favorite segment. Please, Mark, cue the music! Alrighty. Little Millie Rock there.
Shout out to Playboy Cardi, my guy. I got new album coming too.
Yep. Looking forward to it. All right, so this segment of Clown of the Week is brought to you by First Class Second Place, Ugo Boy, New York Posse, and Bravery Studios.
Big Yachts.
Yes.
Big Yachts.
All right. So do you want to start off with your clowns, or should I start?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Oh, yes.
You've been waiting all week for a Clown of the Week. All right.
Marv, give me 10. Tell me why I'm telling lies. Because it's
Tell me.
it's getting hot in here, huh? It's getting hot in here.
Yeah, I gotta take.
It's getting muy caliente, as he likes to say.
I gotta take the CM Punk hoodie off. It's getting hot. Shout out to Punk. He is gonna win the Royal Rumble.
And I think this is real foreshadowing where you're going. I know where this is
for sure. I'm taking it off because it's gonna get hot. My clown of the week, my clown of the decade, my clown of the century is a piece of human garbage called Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Lord have mercy. I saw some of the reports. I'm sure you saw too on Twitter. Some of the text message and some of the deposition and some of the case, which is now for public consumption, of Janelle Grant, who basically is alleging that Vince McMahon basically committed vile acts when she was an employee of the WWE. And again, I've always thought Vince was a scumbag because my hero growing up was Bret the Hitman Hart. And the Montreal Screwjob. We're both very familiar with what they did to that man in his home country, no less, in numerous documentaries. What this man did to this poor woman, and God knows how many other women he's paid off over the years and put in similar situations, was disgusting. He's a disgusting human being. It's not a shocker that he resigned from his position of the board of trustees at TKO or Endeavor or WWE, whatever they were, or Evolve, whatever they're called these days, through the merger, and why the WWE scrubbed every ounce of his name from the website in their category. They're basically giving him the Chris Benoit treatment. They don't want it, and his name is not going to be mentioned on camera or in documentaries or anything. This man is disgusting on so many levels. And I was so just physically uncomfortable reading what he did to this woman. And it just goes to show you once again the Harvey Weinsteins of the world, the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, and now you can add another name, the Vince McMahons of the world, who feel like just because they're in power and just because they've got money and influence and resources at their disposal and wealth, that they can do whatever they want to whoever they want and get away with it. There's a reason why Shane McMahon has kept his distance for years. Because I've read some reports, especially today and yesterday, that Shane would hear about some of the stuff his dad would do and would get into it. He's like, Dad, why are you doing this? Like, no, I don't want to be in this story. He tried to pull a storyline where Stephanie McMahon was pregnant and Vince wanted to be the father of her unborn child.
Jesus.
And he wanted Shane to be the father too. And Shane and Stephanie was just like, Dad, no. Are you serious? That's facts. You can look that up. So, Vince McMahon, you are unequivocally the biggest clown, the biggest bozo, and the biggest POS or POG piece of garbage that professional wrestling, which I love and adore, Marv loves and adore, a lot of people, we love professional wrestling. We love sports entertainment, whatever they want to call it. But you, my friend, are a piece of garbage that had no business being associated with professional wrestling. You're what's wrong with professional wrestling for years, even during the WCW, WWE wars back in the 90s. You're a clown, you're trash, and goodbye forever. Congratulations, you crowned yourself. Clown yourself.
Eloquently put. All right, now, my clown of the week.
He's been waiting all week for clown of the week.
All right, so I'm not going to come in as hot as you did. I think that what you said was perfect and well-deserving and so on and so forth. It was eloquently put. But at the end of the day, I have to go with, I'm not a wrestling guy, and there wasn't really a lot going on. I didn't want to go with any low-hanging fruit this week. I could have gone with Dan Orlovsky. I could have gone with Skip Bayless. I could have gone with, anybody
for the Mount Clownmore? Yeah, anyone of the member of the Clownmore.
Yeah, I'll take one of those, No, but you know what? I have to give, a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're biased because you're a Jets fan and so on and so forth. No, hear me out, okay?
Hear me out, bro.
All right, yeah. So, my clown of the weeks is the NFL honors, because for the finalists for Comeback Player of the Year, you got Tua Tagovailoa, you got Matthew Stafford, you got Baker Mayfield, Damar Hamlin, and Joe Flacco. Where's Breece Hall on that list? You're only not putting on Breece Hall because he's a running back and he's also playing for the Jets, and you don't care to keep the stats. You only want Tua Tagovailoa and Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco because they're quarterbacks, and quarterbacks usually come back for that. If you want to give it to Stafford, fine. I don't agree with it, but I'll give it to you, fine. Joe Flacco, I think he should be in consideration. Tua Tagovailoa, what did he come back from? A headache? He came back from a headache? Just give him some migraines. Breece Hall came back from an ACL tear in the middle of the season and came back with a vengeance. But no, you want to add Tua, who came back from a headache, basically, and add him into the list of finalists for a comeback player of the year. And DeMar Hamlin, listen, I apologize for what happened to you, and I'm glad that you're doing health-wise better and so on and so forth. But from a football standpoint, what did you do? You missed a couple of tackles. You didn't even play the whole season. And people want to put him on there for comeback player of the year just because of what he went through last year? And that had nothing to do with this year and didn't even really perform all that well on the team? I'm sorry. It should have been Breece Hall. He proved himself, but you guys are clowns because you don't want to give the Jets any due respect for the little respect that they do deserve. And you know what? I'm done with you guys. Done with it. I don't care. For all of Jets Nation, I am behind your back. Don't believe these clowns.
Give me a Ric Flair. Give me a Ric Flair.
Woo!
Give me a Ric Flair.
By the way, I was on the Rick H show earlier on this week. Shout out to Rick H. We were doing kind of like a voice battle to see who had like the best voices. And I had no idea, and you would know this. So to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah.
Who said that?
It's Ric Flair.
I didn't know that.
You know that?
I didn't know that. So maybe you should give me an honorary clown for that. But
don't worry. I'll have that drop next week. Marv, you will have that one today.
Yeah. Right. So, but shout out to Rick H. Thank you for having me on your show. That was really, really humbling experience.
Good stuff.
And so on and so forth. But, all right, so let's end things on a positive note after we got rid of that dreck. I don't even know if we should have this belt here as constantly. I don't know. Does that belt have anything to do with your clown of the week?
No.
Okay.
No. The belt, it has the logo on the company, but I don't think of that piece of garbage when I see that belt.
Okay.
I think of the great champions and the great men who have carried that belt. And women as well, including, again, my hero, Bret the Hitman Hart. He had that belt a couple times. You know what I mean? So,
All right. So let's end things on some positivity. Let's go with Chariots of Fire, please. The hero of the week.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to let you start off here.
Yes. Keep it going, Marv. My hero of the week. Where's my camera? My hero of the week. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lion fans. You guys have waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. I can keep going. And waited for years to have a competent championship contending team. Ford Field was rocking the last 2 weeks when you guys knocked off the Rams and then followed that up by knocking off the Bucks. You basically did what the Cowboys thought they were going to do and used the home field to walk into the conference championship game. So Detroit Lion fans, I think I've only met one in my life. they're not here in Jersey.
No,
I'm sorry.
They're not.
And it was recently. I met them a couple months ago. Detroit Lion fans, you guys deserve this moment. I don't know if you guys are going to win this year. Or this week rather, in San Francisco. I'm sure you guys are going to definitely pull up. You're not going to take over the stadium, that's for sure, but you'll definitely be there and you'll be tuned in. You guys have waited a long time to be in this position. A lot of losing over the years, and you guys have been. You had a full season where you didn't win a single game with Dan Clown Orlovsky at quarterback. You know what I mean? Rob Marinelli was your head coach. A lot of down years, but you guys deserve this moment. And you guys are. This is your Super Bowl window has officially opened this year. So even if you guys don't pull it off in San Fran this week, you guys are going to be title contenders for the next 5 to 10 years, in my opinion.
All right. So I never thought that I would actually name this guy as hero of the week because as a player, he used to annoy me. And even though I think he's extremely talented, there was a couple of times where I couldn't stand his Jets hate. But you know what? He's a talented broadcaster. He is a former player. He was drafted by your Dallas Cowboys, but won a championship with the New York Giants. So my hero of the week is Chris Canty. And the reason I chose Chris Canty is because earlier on the show, this week or last week, I forget the name of the show, excuse me, Canty, but he made a great point when a caller came in and called and talked about race in the NFL, specifically with black quarterbacks. Yeah. And they try to they try to spin it in a way that was doing it for clickbaits and so on and so forth. And then afterwards, his co-hosts, respectively, they try to, get out of the way. I'm not trying to touch on that subject, but I respect Chris Canty for actually having the cojones to actually say, why do we need to stop talking about race? It's the reason why we're not talking about it and putting it at the forefront that we have to worry about, like, the only African-American quarterbacks that have won in any NFL history has been Doug Williams or I guess Russell Wilson is an example.
Patty Mahomes,
yeah. But it started off with the whole Lamar Jackson thing, and this is just another continuation of, like, because his race has to come into factor, that they're having doubts about him actually winning the big game, as a Super Bowl champion and so on and so forth, being at the helm. And I just want to thank Chris Canty for actually having the guts to go with it and actually rub it in the faces of people that want to either talk disgustingly about race or they don't want to have these discussions at all. Because if you don't have these discussions in any aspect of life, then how are we going to make forward progress? And in this case, it just happened to be in sports. And like I said, I think he's a fantastic, talented person behind the mic and everything. So let me give my hero of the week to Chris Canty.
For sure, man. I mean, he's made a lot of clown comments about the Cowboys, but I'm with you on that.
Right.
He was spot on there. That was good stuff.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, that's when I felt like the fandom had to be taken out. And I couldn't stand when he would do his clownish takes on the Jets and everything when he was here in New York. But I think that when it came to that particular subject, nobody else had the guts or the gall to actually go there, and he did. So, props to him on that one. But we'll see what. Sure. But I don't know if he'll be future hero of the week if he keeps up with his clown takes.
True, facts.
But you got a mulligan this time around.
Yeah,
you got a mulligan this time around.
Absolutely.
All right. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of another great, fiery Yo BTV Sports episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Kyrie Williams for tuning in. Thank you to New York Posse for the merch. Your brother's, what was it?
Things Galore.
Things Galore, yes.
Things Galore. Yes,
Things
sir.
Galore. Go check it out. Check out new episodes of First Class, Second Place podcast out now. Also, check out my guest spots on The Rick H Show and also We Outside After Work, which is available now. Fellow podcasters out of Bravery Studios. They've also worked with this handsome gentleman over here. Shout out to Ugo. Shout out to Marv. Shout out to you. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to? Besides,
he's on my shirt. Shout out to Mongo. I love you. Go tight here so you can see his face. There you go. Mongalicious. I love you, dog.
All right.
New episodes of the Ugo Boy podcast. We have a season wrap or a Super Bowl wrap show on the way. Might get you or Dez to wrap things up for the NFL season. To love you, sizzle. New episodes on the way. The Gordon Deal episode is out. New I can't even talk. Ugo Boy music is out. And of course, once again, Marvelous and Bravery Studios, the home base for holding your boys down as always.
And also, I want to give a shout out to you real quick because on your YouTube channels, you actually reached a certain pinnacle now. Like you got a certain number now. Like, is it over 1 million views now?
Oh yeah. So I think so. We're not at 1 million yet.
Okay.
We just crossed 800,000 views on the music channel.
Nice.
On the music channel. The music channel.
Well deserved.
And again, we're closing in on 1 million. We're at about closing in on 500,000 on TikTok for the hashtag. And I've got to track it. Actually, I could pull it up right now to see where we are on live in 4K, where we are with Yo BTV Sports on hashtag.
4K! In 4K!
So the Yo BTV hashtag, it's coming up. Be patient. Hashtag. I think it's at about 20,000.
Oh,
20,000 on TikTok.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Sirski.
Yes, big yes, Sirski. So we're just gonna keep on pumping out the content. New episodes on the way on all digital platforms. First Class, Second Place. Ugo Boy.
Bravery Studios.
The whole
We Outside After Work. Everybody.
Outside, the whole lot of us.
Yeah. Everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in on another episode of Yo BTV Sports. We will catch you next time. And in the words of Herm Edwards, you play to win the game.
Hey Marv, take us home with Ric Flair.
Whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it because it is the best thing going today.
Peace. We out.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say who's on the beat because you should know that by now. Check it. Hey yo, music's on my mind. Love my 59, 50, I ain't lying. Check it. Yo, this ain't a fitted song. This a